Good evening. Thank you for joining us live here on 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshata Nandagopal, and this Friday we've witnessed unprecedented protests, clashes, stone pelting, vandalism, you name it. All of this played out in the state of Kerala, courtesy the Popular Front of India. That's right, PFI, which was raided just yesterday, resorted to this kind of violence unabated on the streets of Kerala. So we're asking the same question that we asked yesterday. Has the time come to take the strictest possible action to ban the PFI? We're going to be talking about that and much, much more. As always, here are the headlines first. PFI goes on a rampage day after nationwide crackdown. Members of the radical Islamist organization fell stones, vandalized vehicles in protest. Congress ups ante against Chief Minister Bommai over graft charges. After PCM posters in Bengaluru, Congress launches mega social media campaign against BJP over 40% commission charge. Big win for Uddhav Thackeray and his Sena. Bombay High Court gives permission to Uddhav to hold a rally on Dussehra at Mumbai Shivaji Park. Ashok Gehlot breaks silence over Congress presidential poll, says will follow what Sonia decides. The BJP slams Gehlot, says what authority does Sonia have? External Affairs Minister Jaishankar slams China for saving terrorists from being sanctioned by the UN Security Council, says politics should never give cover to evade accountability. And tennis legend Roger Federer plays his last match tonight. He will team up, interestingly, with Rafael Nadal at the Laver Cup in London. Shocking images that emerged through the day from Kerala as PFI activist protesters came together and in several parts of the state resorted to vandalism, arson and all sorts of violence to protest against the raids that were conducted against them. Let's round up for you all the images that we've gotten through the day. PFI Carter vandalized state transport buses in Kerala's Kollam district. The workers of the outfit broke windshields of the buses, as you see on your screens there. Similar scenes were seen in Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram, where PFI workers damaged autos. Cars were also damaged by these PFI workers who were on a rampage. In Kerala's Kozhikode, members of PFI vandalized buses. Violence was also reported in several parts of Kozhikode. People sustained injuries in these protests. What you see on your screens is CCTV images from a hotel in Kerala's Kottayam, where PFI workers were seen pelting stones at the restaurant. These accused haven't been nabbed yet. And the last image here that you see on your screens, again from Kerala, shows you the reality of what's happening in the state and the fear that the PFI has spread. A bus driver wearing a helmet inside the bus to protect himself in case these violent PFI goons resort to pelting. So just last evening on 6 p.m. Prime, we told you about the nationwide crackdown on PFI offices by the National Investigative Agency, including in Kerala. Now, soon after, PFI workers promised that they would launch this massive agitation, and that's exactly what they did, triggering violent protests against the government's action. Let's round up for you all that played out through the day. On 22nd September, CNN tweeted this image. Its chief international anchor, Christiane Amanpour, sitting in front of an empty chair. She refused to interview the Iran president because he expected her to wear a headscarf. This became the latest part. Apologies for that. We'll just play out the report for you on the massive protests and the violence that broke out by the Popular Front of India. But let me also at this point take you through some of the questions that we're asking on this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Questions that need to be answered by the authorities on why PFI goons for so long now have been given a free run. These are the big questions we're asking. It's primarily about the kind of action that's been taken against the Popular Front of India so far. First, if the ban on PFI is clearly the need of the hour. We've seen what played out on the streets of Kerala today and in many other parts of the country. It's clear that the Popular Front of India is a very dangerous organization and their agenda now is out for all to see. So at this point, with clearly their trend and what they back, that is violence being exposed, is the time and has the time come for us to seriously discuss punitive action against PFI. Is the PFI also emboldened by the lack of action by authorities? Yes, we've seen a crackdown. Yes, we've seen raids happening just yesterday. But is that enough? There needs to be a stronger message sent out to these elements. Now, we've seen several opposition leaders comparing the PFI to the RSS, saying that the Popular Front of India should face the same action that has been taken against RSS. Is that a fair, is that a right comparison? It's also important here to talk about the SIMI PFI link. SIMI is a banned organization. It's a time to recognize the clear link between SIMI and the PFI. Now, there's a reason that we've drawn that link between SIMI and PFI. I'm sure you're all wondering, what is the direct connect? Is there one? Well, we've dug out details of some of the senior-most members of the Popular Front of India. And what we've found is that most of them were also a part of SIMI. Here's how. One such name is E.M. Abdul Rahman. In PFI, he's the vice chairman. Before PFI was formed, he was in SIMI. And he was the general secretary there for 11 years, right up to about 1992-93. Then, let's tell you about the other person, E. Abu Bakr, who is currently in the PFI. He's the SDPI president. SDPI is the political leg of the PFI. In SIMI, he was the head of the Kerala unit for 2 years. Again, a very senior member of SIMI. Then you have P. Koya, referred very popularly to as Professor Koya. In the PFI, he's a member of the National Executive. Similar story here as well, because in SIMI, very senior member, he was a founding member of SIMI. The problem is that with SIMI being banned, being declared as a terror outfit, many of these leaders came together and said, hey, it's easy enough for us then to go ahead and create our own organization. And that's why we say here on India Today that there's a need to recognize the direct link between SIMI and PFI. But focusing also on the crackdown, the action that's been taken against the PFI so far. We saw just yesterday a massive crackdown against, in fact, the PFI, the Popular Front of India, and this was across the country. The NIA has made shocking revelations in its petition, accusing PFI of radicalizing Muslim youth. The NIA has said that it encouraged them to join terror organizations like the ISIS. All the details in our next report.
Noose is tightening around the Popular Front of India. A day after pan-India raids and more than 100 arrests, the National Investigation Agency has made sensational revelations. India Today has accessed the NIA's petition for transit remand for suspect Yasir Arafat, submitted before a Bengaluru court. The investigation agency alleges the PFI has received foreign funds to aid terror. The NIA is accusing the PFI members of trying to radicalize Muslim youth and coercing them into join terror outfits like the ISIS. NIA sources tell India Today that GPS devices along with 2 wireless sets were recovered from one of the arrested accused, Barkatullah. The agency is conducting a detailed investigation into the matter as to where and how the PFI members were using these GPS devices. The NIA will be questioning 18 top leaders of the PFI separately. All of them will also be confronted face-to-face to verify their claims. The NIA wants to know details of funding, activities of PFI cadres, future plans and their association with terror outfits abroad. NIA sources tell India Today the PFI has launched several subsidiaries to take its agenda forward even if the Islamic outfit and its leaders are banned. It already has multiple wings like the Campus Front of India and SDPI. With Sagai Raj in Bengaluru and Jitendra Bahadur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to bring in now Shibimol, who's joining us live from Thiruvananthapuram with more details on the Shibimol. Through the day, you've been getting us all the latest ground reports from across Thiruvananthapuram of the protest, the solidarity march that the PFI held, and of course there's been all of the unprecedented violence also that we've seen in Kerala. What's the situation currently? Has there been any crackdown against all of these goons who resorted to this violence?
Well, Akshita, the situation right now has become a lot better compared to what we saw and what we have been reporting since morning. As per police sources, close to 500 arrests have been made just today in connection with all the attacks, in which 400 are under preventive custody. This is what we are hearing from the police sources. In fact, some time back, the Kerala High Court was hearing another case related to KSRTC, in which the Kerala High Court has come down heavily on the state government, asking how can you let out such violent attacks to take place in the state. In fact, the Kerala government replied that 70 KSRTC buses officially were destroyed and damaged in various attacks across the state, and the Kerala High Court questioned this happened because the workers, the PFI workers were not scared of the government, and that's why your administration was weak, and that's why the workers had all the guts and courage to come out and attack public property, is what the court said. So the court has come down heavily on the state government, putting them under pressure, because since morning we've been reporting and we're hearing news about all these attacks on public entities, but the government or anybody from that side has not responded yet. Now the BJP also came out with allegations that the PFI is controlling the government is in favor, and all of those allegations, but still we've not heard from the government yet. But yes, since morning, a lot of buses, a lot of shops were forcefully shut down when the state police had already said yesterday that nobody will be forcefully asked to shut down their shops. In fact, in the evening, once the locals got fed up, they also had a clash in Kannur's Payyanur. A clash broke out between the locals and the PFI workers.
Let's put out those details. Yes. Shibi, thank you for getting us that report. Let's get you now all the details of what's played out in Kerala through the day.
Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Coimbatore, different cities, one image. The PFI's protest against the arrest of its top leaders across India turned violent in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The cadre of the hardline Islamist outfit vandalizing state transport buses in Kerala's Kollam. Similar scenes were seen in state capital Thiruvananthapuram, where the PFI workers damaged vehicles.
I'm right now in Thiruvananthapuram, and I'm inside a bus, a KSRTC bus, which was attacked by PFI in the morning. The bus was on its regular journey in the morning, and as per the driver, the 3 PFI workers came and asked the bus to be stopped, and once he slowed down the bus, these workers hurled large stones on the front glass of the bus, which is broken. You can see in the visuals, workers in various parts of the state. A lot of buses were stopped, and a lot of bus drivers were also injured.
Vehicles were targeted in Kozhikode as well, where violence left many injured. One state transport driver was seen wearing a helmet inside the bus to protect himself from stone pelting. In Kochi, the workers of the outfit tried to close the shops but were detained by the cops. In Kottayam, 2 unidentified men threw stones at a restaurant. The BJP's Coimbatore office bore the brunt of violent protests in Tamil Nadu. A kerosene bomb was hurled at the office of the Saffron Party. The violence has sparked a political face-off in the state.
Without any prima facie, I don't think NIA will conduct searches and arrest people. Yesterday itself they have arrested hundreds of people. So we need to understand that this PFI and SDPI are doing something in the state of Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Whatever they are accusing PFI of, the BJP, their own organizations are doing the same thing. Whether it's Bajrang Dal, whether it's so many of the Sangh Parivar affiliates, they are doing the same thing what PFI is doing. So in fact, their accusation against PFI can also be an accusation against the Sangh Parivar.
The Kerala High Court has initiated suo motu cognizance against the leaders of PFI for calling flash hartals in the state. Hartals were earlier banned by the court. The court said that immediate action should be taken against ongoing attacks. With Shibi Mole in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
So the Popular Front of India has been crying foul, they've been crying conspiracy. But let's break this down for you. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what's prompted this crackdown, suddenly this kind of a nationwide raid that we witnessed against the PFI. Now, a number of reasons that the NIA has cited. First is the role of PFI in anti-CAA violence across India. The NIA says that we have concrete proof that they were involved. Similarly, another pan-India protest that we witnessed was on the issue of hijab. Again, the Popular Front of India's role is suspected in this. The Karnataka government made a mention of it in the Supreme Court as well. Another issue is the PFI's link to a BJP youth worker, Praveen Netaru's murder in July 2022. This was in Dakshina Kannada. Another issue that's been brought up by the NIA, which they're investigating, is a link that the PFI has to a radicalization plot that was busted in Patna, linked also to an assassination attempt on Prime Minister Modi. Now, the fifth issue that the NIA is also looking into, which they believe the PFI is linked to, is a terror training camp that was busted in Hyderabad, in which a karate teacher was also taken into custody. So all of these issues are currently being investigated against the PFI. Here on India Today, for the last many years, we've been highlighting several issues that have cropped up against the PFI. The Popular Front of India proclaims to be a champion of diversity, of equality. But this group, particularly in Kerala, has consistently denied accusations of religious conversions, of Hawala funding, which they face again now, by the way, of murderous assaults and terror links. Back in 2017, we here at India Today had lifted the veil of the non-profit organization, securing stunning confessions of its top functionaries about how really it goes ahead with its profiteering, about its illegal financing, and about its ultimate goal, to turn India into a theocratic Islamic state, in its own words.
Conversion queue. I'm so immorally I am very much disappointed about hearing all these allegations.
You stand accused of converting people to Islam and using Satya Sarni as a front for conversion.
She's an allegation. There is a baseless allegation. Can you prove that? Nobody can compel or nobody can forcefully convert from one ideology to any other religion.
The woman at the center of the love jihad debate, accused of brainwashing Akhila, helping her convert and then hurriedly arranging her marriage to Shefin Jahan. Zainaba claims she has no hand in conversion. This is what she says on camera. Now, listen to this.
Conversion का क्या प्रोसीजर होता है?
Conversion नाम पर रखना ये तो ठीक नहीं हो जाएगा क्योंकि उधर पूरा conversion नाम जिन्ने भी प्यार लोगों गुस्सा जाएगा. ये conversion नाम पर नहीं करना है. सेंटर का नाम दूसरा नाम पर. हमारे सत्यसारणी इंस्टीट्यूट का नाम पर conversion सेंटर नहीं है. सत्यसारणी इंस्टीट्यूट है और चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट है, उसी नाम पर हम शुरू करना है.
That's right. This charitable trust that Zainaba is a part of is a disguise. Her confession only confirms what the NIA said in its dossier on the Popular Front of India. The dossier read, the PFI is running a religious conversion facilitation center called Satya Sarni. Although PFI claims that institution only provides knowledge on Islam, it functions as a religious conversion center. Islamic studies is just a facade. In reality, the PFI Satya Sarni, also called the Markazul Hidayah, is a full-time religious conversion center. Zainaba now explains the modus operandi for the conversion.
Conversion नहीं है, हम legally नहीं declare करना है, conversion center नहीं है. एक education institute है.
तो फिर आप जो कन्वर्जन वहाँ सत्य साधनी में होता है या जो लोग रहते हैं,
जी,
मान लीजिए वो कभी बाहर जाके बोल दें किसी को,
नहीं, उसका चांस कम नहीं है।
क्यों?
क्योंकि वो लोग इतना इस्लाम कबूल करने के बाद बाहर जाने हैं।
You heard how religious education and charity are used as cover. Nothing goes out of the walls of Satyasarani till the target is achieved. Now Zainaba illustrates how such centers are set up step by step.
पहले हमको इसमें बहुत सारे काम है, हमारे को रिसोर्स भी चाहिए, इसलिए हमारे हमको एक ट्रस्ट देंगे,
वो सब बन जाए।
प्राइमरी स्टेज ट्रस्ट में 15-16 पीपल है तो
जी जी बताइए।
बाद में हमको एक जगह फिक्स करना है, एक कैंपस में पूरा फैसिलिटी होना चाहिए, नमाज के लिए मस्जिद होना चाहिए, अकोमोडेशन होना चाहिए, किचन पूरा होना चाहिए, ऐसा एक वेल फर्निश्ड इंस्टीट्यूट होना चाहिए। उसके बाद हमको रजिस्टर करना है, गवर्नमेंट के तरफ से रजिस्टर करना है, फैसिलिटीज रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट पर ट्रस्ट जैसे रजिस्ट्रेशन करना है। ठीक है, इसलिए हमारे लिए कुछ रिसोर्स होने चाहिए पढ़ाने के लिए, फील्ड में जाने के लिए।
मतलब रजिस्ट्रेशन में हमें ये नहीं दिखाना है कि हम कन्वर्जन करेंगे। नहीं, लेकिन कन्वर्जन कैसे होगा फिर?
कन्वर्जन के लिए हम पूरा इस्लाम सिखाने के बाद नमाज पढ़ना है, नमाज रोज़ा पूरा सिखाने के बाद सर्टिफिकेट भी देना है।
अच्छा, वो सारा काम आप करेंगे, काउंसलिंग वगैरह?
There's no ambiguity left, from creating a trust, identifying a campus location, to proselytizing. What follows next is certification of name change post-conversion. Zainaba now disclosed the entire process for outsourcing these documents.
इसका इस्लाम का कन्वर्जन का भी सर्टिफिकेट होता है?
सर्टिफिकेट होना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम उनको नाम चेंज करना है, गजट में पब्लिश करना है, इसके लिए एक लीगल सर्टिफिकेट होना है।
अगर आप सर्टिफिकेट देंगे तो पता लग जाएगा कि इंस्टीट्यूट कन्वर्जन कराना है।
ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूट है तो हमको दूसरे नाम पर जितना दो तरह से हमको करना है। अगर डिक्लेयर करने जैसे ये इंस्टीट्यूट के नाम पर हमको सर्टिफिकेट कबूल किया, ऐसा है। दूसरा एक सिस्टम है, कुछ लॉटरी एडवोकेट है ना, उनके तरफ से लीगली डिक्लेयर करने के बाद हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट में पढ़ाना है, इसलिए दो तरह से करना है।
जो दो लीगल इंस्टीट्यूट हैं कन्वर्जन कराते हैं केरला में, वो कौन कौन से हैं?
एक कैलिकट में है, एक पन्ना में है।
क्या नाम है उनका?
कैलिकट।
और
पन्नाने में माउनत
जी
माउनत
उनको सरकार से
परमिशन है, कॉन्टैक्ट में हम लोग।
वो लोग आपके कॉन्टैक्ट में हैं? अच्छा, तो आप उनसे सर्टिफिकेट दिलवाते हैं।
A well-oiled racket for religious conversions. Mushrooming in Kerala under the facade of charity. Is Hadia's case then only the tip of the iceberg? Bureau Report, India Today.
And now through the day, we've been getting you all of the images of the Karnataka Congress's Pay CM campaign. It was also hit by a controversy after an actor, Akhil Nair, alleged that his face had been used for the campaign without his consent. Iyer had tweeted to say that he has nothing to do with this entire commission campaign that the Congress has kicked off. And joining us this evening is Akhil Iyer, an actor who's based in Bengaluru, I understand. Akhil, thank you for joining us here on India Today. You had nothing to do with this campaign.
I'm based in Bombay, in Mumbai, not in Bangalore.
Okay, Akhil. Just tell us what really happened. How did you come across this post? And you're saying you had absolutely no idea your image was used?
Yeah, absolutely no idea. I got a journalist actually sent it to me last night asking me if I was, she sent me the poster and asked if I was a part of the campaign or if I had sanctioned this image, and I was really surprised to see that my image was used in a campaign of this nature. I said I had nothing to do with it. Subsequently, a bunch of friends also sent me the image, which was a post on Instagram and a story. And so this morning I felt like I had to issue some kind of a clarification, because I have nothing to do with the campaign and I don't think it's right that my image was used without my consent.
Of course. Has there been any communication since after you put out that message on social media from the Congress? Have they pulled down the poster? Do you know?
No, so firstly, I don't even know if it's the Congress party that has put up the poster. It was put up by a page called 40% Sarkar, which is the name of the campaign
that is run by
they
the
are
Congress,
running.
yes.
But yeah, I think right now my lawyers just told me that I think it has been pulled down because we can't see it anymore. So I'm happy that it has been pulled down. But yeah, not a nice thing to be involved in when you have nothing to do with it.
I'm sure it completely caught you by surprise and completely off guard. You did say in your message on social media that you were even contemplating taking legal action. Is that something you're still considering?
Well, I am discussing with the lawyer about it. We are going to send a notice about why the image was used without my consent. So yeah, the legal action is something that my lawyer and I are discussing right now, and we're going to take a call on what should be the next step. See, maybe sometimes these things are just mistakes, but I mean, for someone who's an actor, for someone whose profession sort of, it works on this, it's not, it's nice to have one's image associated with these kinds of things, unless it's something that you want to do,
I completely understand, and I can only imagine how shocked you were when you saw these posters and were shared with you as well. Did you try to reach out by any chance to the Congress, try to communicate to them that, hey, look, this is me and you've used my picture without my permission?
That was the intent with the tweet. That's why I tracked the Congress party and some of the leaders in the Congress party to try to see if maybe if it's a mistake or whatever, then maybe they have it pulled down. But I think since then, because the tweet has got some amount of attention, I think now the image has been pulled down, which is something that I'm grateful for. Yeah.
But obviously at this point it is creating quite a bit of embarrassment also for the Congress. What I am surprised by though is that there's been no communication whatsoever to you, Akhil. It's been very quietly pulled down, yes?
Yeah, no communication to me. My intent is not to embarrass or to throw shade on anybody, to be honest. I know that there is a big political conversation going on around what's happening in Karnataka right now, but I wanted to put out that I am not involved in any way, and I don't think anybody's image should be used without their consent, especially if it's something which is pushing a message really strongly,
And, we know that these pictures did go viral as well. So there were a lot of people who also replied saying, what's the problem? You're an actor, so your image can be put out on these posters. What's your response to that?
Well, I think that's where sort of intellectual property or copyright sort of comes in. I think where someone's face is used, like if you're an actor and if your face is used promoting a movie or something like that you're a part of or that you're endorsing, that is of course a part of my job. But when it's something like this that is not a part of my job, something that I've not approved or something that I have not given my consent to, I don't think it's fair. I mean, people say a lot of things, especially on the internet, but I think I just wanted to be clear that it has that I have nothing to do with it, and I hope that necessary action is taken.
And that too for your picture to be used for a political campaign, essentially, right?
Exactly.
And this is a poster that essentially where your photo is shown and you're sending out a message to the public. So I understand why you also found a need to put this out on social media and have this addressed immediately. But I'm glad it got cleared up. Thanks, Akhil, for joining us and essentially setting the record straight on these posters that have been doing the round. So you heard Akhil Iyer there, an actor who's now made it clear that he didn't give permission. He had absolutely nothing to do with this campaign, and yet the Congress went ahead and used his image for the posters that they've been putting out across Karnataka as well. We're going to continue getting you all of the latest that comes in from Karnataka. Iran's strict moral policing over women regarding the hijab is now in the forefront in the world stage. While the presidents of the United States and Iran criticized each other over human rights, women in Iran and outside are uniting in their protest against the forceful imposition of wearing the hijab. CNN's Christian Amanpour is the latest example who's joined this protest. On 22nd September, CNN tweeted this image. Its chief international anchor, Christian Amanpour, sitting in front of an empty chair. She refused to interview the Iran president because he expected her to wear a headscarf. This became the latest spark in the anti-government protests raging in Iran against hijabs. Cornered and criticized for its strict moral policing, leading to the death of a young woman, Iran and the United States locked horns on the issue in the recent UN General Assembly.
The Islamic Republic of Iran rejects some of the double standards of some governments vis-à-vis human rights and sees that the most important factor which has rendered banal the topic of human rights in the eyes of many.
And today we stand with the brave citizens and the brave women of Iran who right now are demonstrating to secure their basic rights.
A week ago, the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in custody sparked protests in Iran. She was detained by the so-called morality police after officers apparently found fault with her hijab. While in detention, she slipped into a coma and died. The police claimed she suffered a heart attack, but her family countered this claim by saying she had no history of heart diseases. Chanting death to the dictator, Iranian women have been out on the streets and on social media protesting against the hijab rules. They got into a brawl with security officials. Some even threw tear gas at the officials. More than 30 people have been killed in these protests so far.
Women in Iran see hijab as a symbol of oppression. And according to Iranian criminal code, a woman's refusal to wear a hijab in public is a criminal act punishable by a fine or imprisonment. And over the past 4 decades, Iranian women have continued to peacefully protest against the compulsory hijab rules and the violation of their fundamental human rights.
They've been burning veils and cutting off their hair. They're angry and they don't want to stop anymore. And these women are not alone or isolated. The men of Iran stand by them against these oppressive rules of the regime. They're hands-on in all these protests. Mahsa Amini's father was angry and defiant. He refused to allow Islamic prayers over his daughter's dead body. Iranians are now experiencing widespread internet outage amid days of mass protests. That includes losing access to Instagram and WhatsApp, two of the last Western social media platforms available in the country. Bureau Report, India Today.